All right, hello, and thanks for spending a little bit of time with myself, John, and What Was That Radio? It is a place to dive in and discover true modern rock, as well as the living room right now. Just want to show you these Halloween, I nearly said Christmas lights, these Halloween lights in full flow. Look at these really cool skulls I got up here that I think we need to move behind me a bit. Look at them go, those Scully boys. I had a conversation a few days ago with Remington. He's the lead singer and one of the three brothers that make up Palaye Royale. And they're about to release their fourth record, Fever Dream, in the October month of 2022. So here he is chatting with me backstage in Omaha ahead of a show where he's about to play. Well, we'll discuss it. We'll get to it. Otherwise, thanks for flipping time and being here. Please consider going to, I don't know what this is all about. This is when Harley's playing soccer and he's 8 years old and he does a good play and he's like, yeah. And so now it's just, it's a thing. It's a beautiful thing. If you want to discover more, go to whatwasthatradio.com if you're new here, or go to patreon.com/whatwasthatradio to support the station and all we do. Everything is split 50-50, but that rundown will be found alongside a lot more information at whatwasthatradio.com. Here's a conversation with Remington of Palaye Royale.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Good evening, Remington. How are you? How is Omaha?
Omaha is good. Yeah.
Have you been there before? Is there anything? I have no idea what the hell happens in Omaha unless you're playing a concert there. What's it like?
That is kind of where I'm at. I'm not entirely sure what happens in this city. So, yeah, I'm just waiting for showtime, and we'll see how rowdy Omaha gets.
Yeah, I can't believe that I mean, it's obviously something that you've been doing for years now, but to fit in doing, I'm getting a call from, I think, probably the label just to say, okay, how long have you done this where you've been doing interviews right before you go on stage? Because when I perform, I need 2 or 3 hours just to chill the fuck out. Like this is, you're going on in like an hour and a half.
Yeah. We're on in like an hour and a half. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. You know, I'm just getting over strep throat. So that's been kind of a pain in the ass.
Oh, Jesus. What have you been doing with that then? Lots of honey and tea or what? I got to take the blazer off because I know that you love blazers. And the one day you're not wearing a blazer, you're wearing the Playboy tee. And it's fucking so hot in here. So I'm backing out quick.
Playboy t-shirt, right?
But how do you look after yourself in those situations?
I mean, definitely difficult because, you know, the main thing is not to speak or, you know, and get lots of rest, which I'm doing neither of. So it's just kind of like you just drink as much water as you can, try to lay off the alcohol and, just try to look after yourself.
Because I was just saying to my partner who's in the other room that I've been listening to the record for the last 2 weeks since I got it from Luther's Radar, and this is an utterly world-class record. This is without doubt the most refined, the most incredible effort that you three have put together in your career so far. You've been making music together since, well, for half of your lifetime now. But the one note that I keep making is that what I've always adored about your vocal is how the microphone, the compressor, every piece of gear seems to be on its last legs because the power that you generate is just so ridiculous.
Thank you.
Your voice is just a force.
It was definitely our favorite record we've ever made, and I think this is something we've been the most proud of is in our career. And I think we keep growing as songwriters and as musicians, and it's pretty incredible. Like you know, I couldn't be more proud of a piece of work. You know, this is the soul of Palaye Royale into one body of work. Yeah,
with Eternal Life, the intro is fantastic. And the way that I go about things, Remington, is I analyze the shit out of everything. I'll listen 20, 30, 40, 50 times in different moods, on different days, whether it's raining, whether it's sunny, shiny, and warm. There's not been much rain here on Vancouver Island for a while. I'm on the west coast of Canada. But with Eternal Life, that take me far from me, my own worst enemy. I want to crawl up, you know, I want to crawl away into Eternal Life. That speaks to me tenfold because... I don't know who this is. San Rafael, that can't be anyone that I know on the label, is it? No, that's nowhere near Omaha.
I think another act is going on. Let me take you into the other room really quick. Hold on.
Who's that, Starbenders?
Well, I got to do an interview. I'm just doing an interview, so if you guys just hear me talk.
He's not talking to himself today, this time.
All right, I'll set up.
Who was on right now, Mod Son or Starbenders?
It's Carol's daughter, I believe.
Oh, Carol's daughter. Okay.
Wait, just kidding. They're not here. It's Mod Son.
Okay, there we go. Let me just quickly check the. Oh, okay, yeah. Who's this? Is part of your team. You might even be in the same room. Hi, this is Karame from Palaye Royals Management. They're running late, but they're on the Zoom. Apologies. No need to apologize ever. You're in the middle of a fucking tour and you're ill. I don't need any apologies from anyone, but that's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay, well, the first thing, so disclaimer, and not to dive into the details of it, but I had a unfortunate incident involving two older men when I was 10 years old. And what that meant was I grew up very confused as to who I was. I went through my emo phase, my prog rock phase, my punk phase, everything you can imagine, just going through essentially like a tickle trunk of costumes, trying to find which personality fit me best. And to open this record with Eternal Life and take me from me, my own worst enemy, I want to crawl into eternal life. Like that struck me tenfold because it reminded me of being 13, 14, 15, 16 and feeling like I was chasing myself, like when you've got that shadow following up the staircase, but at the same time, you're chained to yourself so you can't. And this entire record, you dive so deep into this dark world, but also the growth that can come out of the challenge of the shit, the things that hold you back. And so what is it like when you talk about in the Porsche video that is so brilliant, man? That video is incredible. And the 2 or 3 interviews I've seen you do where you talk about this, okay, connection with your brothers. You've been making music for half your lifetime. You've had that butting heads, but you feel now that you've got the closest kinship you've had. How is it going through those developments and those changes and then still writing this lyrical adventure that is so open? How have you balanced that all out and created this?
As far as that goes, because the Bastards record was definitely, it's definitely darker, and it was a darker period of my life. And I think when the point where me and the guys were all a point in our lives when we were making this record, it was, it was just trying to balance and figure out who we are as people, and finding out the best and worst parts of yourselves. There's always going to be those dark moments, but I think we did something for the first time was trying to find that silver lining. And, it's definitely weird, looking on past records, because it's, listening to like the lyrics that, I said back then. And it's just kind of like watching yourself grow up in music form. And, we're evolving every day, but this record kind of sums up exactly who we are as people in this life, at this point in our lives, and the kind of challenges that we've been going through as a band and as brothers and family. And, it's definitely, has its ups and downs.
You say in Punching Bag, I miss the old me before I got stuck in hell. And that is a very very reflective lyric. I mean, because you have been nonstop go for a decade now. It's just been constant. Another country, another tour, another this, another that. And it's almost fickle in a way that the last few years gave you the chance to take that stop and rest and just get together in the living room of your house and just think, well, how the fuck are we going to ground? And now how the fuck are we going to rock and roll? Like, do you ever feel that it's a because the answer you just gave, then it's sort of looking back at that last 10 years and the last few records. What are you proud of when you think about Forever Dream?
I'm just, looking back about, our pretty much our whole career it's been crazy. Cause like, mentally we're still, trying to make it. I'm still like traveling in my mom's car in my head. I still, feel like we've got so much to prove. And it's definitely been a really interesting journey, kind of going through this whole thing. And but as far as musically goes, this is definitely something that it just came together so naturally between me and my brothers, and which doesn't really happen often. We fight and we always have different opinions, but on this body of work, we were in agreement for the first time. And we just got to create the music that, we love and that we've always wanted to hear. And I think it's a big step forward for us as a band.
Yeah, I think the record is just colossal. Like, I know that you would hope that you get good feedback, certainly in these conversations that you're allowing people to have with you. But legit, this is a world-class record. This is front to back explosive with the 10, 12 years of what you produced as brothers before this. Sebastian's guitar work is insane. Emerson's drum and piano is just stunning, particularly the piano. One of my favorite things that Chris has captured on this record as well in talking about production is that every single song has got this very almost meticulous layer to it, the foundation, if you will. And it is always there, so that when we have those moments that it just drops down to you vocally, or Sebastian's got the acoustic guitar, or Emerson's on the piano, there's always that eeriness at the bottom, that is that really contemplative thought, sort of more minor than it is major, that allows you to just consider and really get stuck into what you're singing about lyrically.
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
I was just talking to the layering of the album in a whole, like this with Eternal Life and a few of the songs. There's this almost warping effect that it really just, the guitars and the wall of guitars that's been built in a stereo field really vibrates the mind and gives it a shake to dive into the story you're telling. But then it always comes back to this beautiful layer and foundation that holds the whole thing together. So was that a particular idea with you and Chris to make sure that you had that, when we drop out to nothing, we've still got that texture around piano and acoustic guitar and your vocal?
Yeah, because this was the first record. We didn't go into like a studio and banging out with drums and loud amps and stuff. We set up the whole studio in my living room, and obviously during the pandemic, so we couldn't be super loud, and so all we pretty much had was acoustic guitars and pianos to create an entire record. And while creating that, we just wanted to make sure that every song could be a great song just on an acoustic guitar or just on a piano, and if you have a great song just with one instrument, then you've got something, and so we wanted to really, capture that in every track, where it breaks down to just an acoustic or just a piano and just the vocals. And if it still hits, that's when we knew we were onto something.
And you had said in that Porsche video short that Fever Dream was a song that tracks back 8 years, and that when Chris had suggested a slight change on the piano, that it really came together. That again is a song that is just, when we look at the lyrics, let go of what we need, what we used to know, we can be everything and anything. It's just an incredibly uplifting. Did you have the lyrics for 8 years, or was it that you were missing the composition of it?
We had, I think it was the verse and the pre-chorus for 8 years. We never had the chorus, and Chris just we were just messing around with chords one day, and he just played this. He just switched it up on me, and I don't know. The chorus came within like 5 minutes, and it was incredible. It was so cool, and yeah, the whole thing just kind of came together. But yeah, we've been working on that one for 8 years.
Which I find so interesting when you contrast that with the fact that what I see in the press release and what I've seen in some of these interviews so far is that this has been such a massive growth experience for the three of you, but yet this song dates back to really the earliest days of this band. So I find that an intriguing juxtaposition between what's happened in the last few years in your living room, but then what you've had on the back burner for all this time.
Yeah, it's because we always try to take some stuff from. Because we have so many ideas still from, I think it was our very first EP. There were just voice memos and early demos and stuff. But we always try to incorporate some of that stuff into the newer stuff, because I feel like we've gotten better as songwriters. But jumping back into our original thoughts and original notes and demos, kind of, you still have the essence of the band and what we always wanted to be, and we always kind of want to retouch on that, so we never really lose ourselves.
I feel bad for every fucking question I ask, because you need to rest that voice. I can't believe that you've agreed to do it right now. It's really appreciated. So I won't keep you too much longer, so you can chill the hell out. But or you can just go and say to Sebastian and Emerson, why didn't you just take this one for me, guys? Come on, why?
Oh, they don't fucking do shit.
Oh, come on. They don't do any interviews? I've seen Emerson do some brilliant ones on psychology and philosophy. Emerson
does like 3 interviews a year.
Right.
Bash has been a trooper. He's been doing more and more interviews. So it was my turn to help out.
Fair enough. I was going to open with a cheeky question, but I thought better of it, because I'm just intrigued. What the hell do you even do on Halloween? Do you just get a white shirt and jeans and some Vans and say, fuck it?
Honestly, it's funny, every fucking year, I was like, have the big plan to dress up, and at the last fucking second, I was like, all right, I'll just fucking put in vampire teeth. So I was like, let's fucking
go. Awesome. All right, well, I think I'm going to ask you one more question, because I want to let you go and rest, because again, I really appreciate it, and we can do this another time after tour. But what what excites you about so much of this record? That how much of this are you playing live? Are you 3 or 4 songs right now and waiting, or are you doing 5, 6, 7 of them?
Right now we're playing pretty much everything that's pretty much been released up to this point. But I think the Palladium show in LA is going to be our first show that we're going to be playing when the record is actually out. And so we're going to be incorporating new songs into that set. And obviously the whole UK and Europe tour, we're going to be incorporating, I think, 90% of this record into the set.
So what are the ones that are just waiting for public consumption that you're most itching to get out on stage, and why?
Oh, stage. I think Wasted Sorrow. I think that's going to be a great live track. Off With My Head. That's definitely one of my favorites. And it's going to be really cool to play Oblivion live. That's one of my favorite tracks on the record, and it's going to be just like really amazing because there's no drums throughout the whole thing.
Yeah,
it's just going to be like this just beautiful moment between the crowd and me, and I'm looking forward to that one the most.
Yeah, I was going to mention that because that's what I love about the record and I love about Oblivion is that, and I used the word love actually meaning it as well. I don't worry about this fake bullshit when it's like, I love it, just means I like it. But I genuinely love how Oblivion sticks out.
Yeah.
And right when you think around 3:45 that this might jump up and the guitars are going to come in, it soothes. And your vocal, that's what's so amazing about your vocal, man, is that you're able. I remember growing up with some of my best friends just being in London and saying, how the hell did this guy and this guy and this guy get his voice? And we were 15, 16 and they'd say, 40 cigarettes and a bottle of Jack Daniels a day. But it seems like you've just been born with this incredible ability to shift through 3 forms of your voice, the clean Remington, the more harsh Remington, and the one that's going to destroy every microphone and compressor in the world. And with Oblivion, that's what you showcase so well, is that 10, 15 years of growth where you can go through the song and add just a little bit, 5% more Remington, 5% more. And it just is so magnificent throughout. And it doesn't need that big, crazy wall of guitars at the end of it. So like, are you going to position that in a set? Oh, yeah, well, we probably can't reveal that just yet. But to me, those sort of songs excite me for chilling the set and then ramming home. Yeah,
I think, we're still obviously working out the set for UK and Europe. But, for this record, it was really important for me. So I went up to Chris before this record started, and I just told him, I was like, I really want you to push me. I really want to be uncomfortable. I really want to just, really test my limits vocally. And he's like, absolutely. And there'd be fucking nights where I'm getting pissed off. I started throwing shit, and I'm like, because I couldn't do it, but that's exactly what I wanted. And I've never pushed my vocals this hard that I have in this record. And I'm so glad I did, because I'm learning so much about myself, and I feel like I'm growing as a singer and a songwriter. And, I'm really thankful for Chris, did exactly what I told him. He pushed me on this one.
Okay. Well then, last thing, what was one thing that you take away from that growth with Chris vocally rather? What was an aha moment?
I definitely expanded my range a lot. I did some falsettos in this record for the first time. I've never really fucked with falsettos before, and I've been doing new demos recently, and I've been adding falsetto a lot more. And just growing vocally. I'm learning new tricks, and how to control it a little bit better, and it's been great.
Yeah, there's 2 or 3 songs on the record with those falsetto sort of gang vocal chorus in the background that are just luscious. They're brilliant.
Yeah.
All right, Remington, I can't believe that you even did this, considering the way that you're in. I really appreciate that, man. That's very kind of you. And
thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I hope the rest of the tour goes really well, and maybe in the future we can get the 3 together to connect, because I would love to dissect the shit out of this. Like I said to my partner before this, I'm going to keep it pretty simple because I make way too many notes and dissect the shit out of it, but I don't want to rush anything, and I don't want to push your voice right now. That's the main thing.
I would love the deep dive. Let's set up something soon with all 3 boys.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Remington. Have a great rest of your tour, and congrats on the record. It is legit brilliant.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Take care.
Bye. So that was a conversation with Remington of Palaye Royale, and thank you very much for your flipping time. It was pretty clear in that conversation that I had a bit of anxiety going on because, as I said throughout it, I didn't want to be the reason why his voice suddenly would completely kaput with the strep throat. And it can be extremely difficult to perform the multitude of gigs that a band like Palaye Royale do in quick succession anyway, let alone when you are then affected by such an aggressive situation as a strep throat. I'll say situation second time in quick succession and that's the first rim shot of the day, because it was just necessary to finish the sentence and get this over and done with. Thank you very much for your time. Happy Thanksgiving. I'm very thankful for the purple hat that came in a cracker that matches and matches. I'm still so full and thankful too. Whatever you're doing the rest of your day, and as always, look after yourself and hope there's some fun and smiles involved in the rest of it as well, because we've got to cherish that positive. For now, cheerio.